After you're punching, you need to clean up the front side of the rug, and I'm going to show you how to make this look like this. We have lots of long ends that we're going to cut off, and also loops that are a little bit too tall. So the first thing I'm going to do is start by taking the back of my scissors and just rubbing this, and it's going to make those little ends pop up. And look at those messy letters. So now I'm just going to start pulling up on anything that's too tall, whether it's a loop or an end, and I'm going to clip it off. I'm just going to put a little bit of tension on it. You want to put a little pressure on it and hold it upright, and then when you cut it, it sort of just settles down in nicely and it won't show where you've clipped it. If you have a large group of them together, don't cut them as a group. Make sure just to cut them individually. So what I'm doing is I am going through with anything that's too tall and cutting it off, if it's a tall end or a tall loop. So if you have a loop that's too tall or an end, when you pull it up, make sure that you're getting all 3-ply. This is 3-ply yarn, so don't just cut 2-ply and leave 1-ply stuffed down in there. Pull on those ends to make sure that you have all 3 of the ply when you clip. It's normal for 1 or 2 of the ply not to pop out to the surface. So I'm just sort of rooting around where I feel a lump and pulling on it. Starting to look better already, except for those letters. They're still pretty scary looking. A big clump of them here, so I'm just going to separate them and cut them individually. Oh, there's a P, but it's all messy. We will clean that up in a minute. Let's get these ends cut first. There's a kind of a messy looking E. There's our A that needs a little help. Now you can just rub your hand over and feel where it's lumpy. And any place where there's a big lump is where you've pushed an end through and it hasn't popped up yet. There's one down here. Okay, I think I got all the ends. Oh, there's another one. Do my lump check. There's another one. Okay, so after you do the snipping of the ends, now we're going to do what I call poking, which is just poking all the loops where you want them to go. Because we work on the wrong side, we don't really have control of what's happening on the front of the rug, but now we're going to whip it into shape. I go around all of my lines of my object, so I'm going to go around my pear, and this is meant to be a nice unbroken line, so I'm going to push that purple one out of the way. And just separate the purple from the pear all the way around. See how this green one is tucked in there? You want it back out here, so just put everything where you want it and it will stay. Now this pear has that nice little curve, and you can emphasize that by pushing it up and pushing the purple into it. And this leaf needs to be cleaned up, so I'm going to do the same thing, just go around the outside of the shape. And I'm actually going to push this over to make it even pointier, make it a little more graceful. So you can see this is very smushable. You could make it rounded, or if you want to, you can make it pointed. And once you do that, it will stay in place. I'm going to clean up my stem. And now I'm going to go around the border. Starting to look better. Okay, now about these letters. We're going to poke those around too and see if we can get them legible. See how there's a purple loop there? It's meant to be a green loop, so let's move it out of the way and push the green one in there where it should be. And get this purple one out of the way. Now for our E, poke things around. This A is pretty illegible. Let's see if we can get this green one back. Oh, there it is. See, it's hidden under there. And this part of the A is completely buried. So you can reach underneath and pull up the loops a little bit. That's looking better. And our R has a broken green line, so we're going to push the purple out of the way and see there's the R. There, so now it's legible. I want to make it look even better though. I came up with a technique through trial and error for making my lettering or other single lines look even crisper. It's called using a space keeper. So what I do is I consider the first row of punching that I put in just my space keeper. It's just holding that place, and I'm going to take it out and replace it with more punching. So you want to get underneath the loops on the back and just very carefully pull it out one loop at a time. These loops might snag on other loops, so don't pull too hard. So that's what I mean about snagging. This one doesn't want to come. So what we're going to do is we're going to get it from the other direction. And then we're just going to clip it. And clip it again. And then that last little bit will pop right out of there. So be delicate when you do the unpunching. It will be worth the work, I promise. Okay. So now you're just going to repunch it, and because you have this nice channel, you have a nice clear place for the loops to go in. They're not competing with other loops anymore. Other loops just sort of squish them out of place, and now they're going in nice and tidy. And you want to make sure to use your 6 stitches per inch. Okay, let's have a look at that on the right side of the rug. Just going to cut the ends off from where I started and where I stopped. I don't know what happened to all the ends. They didn't all poke up all the way. But that's okay. They're tucked in underneath the purple ones. So now I'm just poking them around to make sure I can see them better. There, I think that's a big improvement.